information. Finding the best family cars takes more than just counting seatbelts and cup holders. That's why the expert editors at Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com enlisted the help of
#800-965-1298.
Sorry.
Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
Fantasy Sports puts you in control of your own team.
Stand by.
The Nick Bonsanto Show is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, co-hosted by SFL CEO Zach Stanley and SFL COO Seth Young. The Star Fantasy League Show, on the air.
Make this game your finest hour.
Now,
Hit.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO Deuce Moose Zach Stanley.
Donald, it's good to be here. We're edging towards April, and the weather is starting to get a little bit balmy.
Hey, finally we get to talk about something not depressing and cold. And we'd like to finally also welcome back to the studio
Teddy Bear
Mr.
2.
Seth. Oh, you're not Seth Young.
no,
You know what? Seth Young is back in the building. He was at work today, but he got pissy again. He was being a baby and decided to go home. So Nick Stablenko's back on the show. Teddy Bear 2, welcome back.
Thank you for that very warm welcome. I feel the love.
TB2. TB2.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to say that
I feel one love.
you know how we always say Seth's doing something that he's doing because that's legitimate. Today he was sloppily sobbing into his sheets at home. That's what he's actually doing right now.
Sloppily
He
sobbing.
really loves his linens.
I needed alliteration. I always do alliterations.
He loves his linens.
You know what? He actually almost bought a candle that was like fresh linens. That's weird, right?
Yeah, he likes to sit in his fresh linens by candlelight and rub himself with his...
Wow, we are getting way too far off.
With
wow.
his creamy cocoa butter lotion.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going somewhere completely different. I'd like to say that, Nick, congratulations. You actually did pay up on your bet. I think we had sometime last week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you actually
Why, thank
you
you.
did.
I
You
accept
paid off
your
on your bet because
congratulations.
normally we
I'm a
won't.
man of my word.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
gonna
streaming
step
live
up.
on YouTube right now, and if you hop on the stream, you can see behind us
I've been immortalized on the
Nazir
wall.
Mohammed Nick.
Yes, Nazir Mohammed Nick. He's got the body of Nazir Mohammed, the head of Nick. A little strange. Coming up after the first break, we are talking NBA lineup breakdown for Monday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Nice open.
so you're into fantasy sports. Time for you to up your game at StarFantasyLeagues.com, where you can play fantasy sports like football, basketball, hockey, and baseball and earn cold hard cash every single day. It's legal, it's brand new, and it's awesome. At StarFantasyLeagues.com, you can play your favorite fantasy sport for real money against real people, or even play the Star Fantasy League's free tournaments for your chance to win something for nothing. Put your money where your mouth is. Prove your expertise. Get your game on today at StarFantasyLeagues.com. Nick Monsanto is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SFL Show.
Let's do this.
Time for your Star Fantasy League's NBA Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
Break it down.
It is time to break it down like our lovely producer says. That's right, Nick. It's your turn to break down your lineup on StarFantasyLeagues.com.
A rough run of things here lately, and I'm going to admit that. But I think tonight's the night.
Well, you got to stop making side bets too. I mean, that's really weird when you bring Nazir Muhammad, we pan you for it, and then you're like, let's make a
hang on a
bet.
second. That was the only one I've made.
Got an all
I make
total
a few
of
and far
6
between.
minutes.
He did.
He played 6
We
minutes.
should have done over-under
Four,
on minutes.
actually.
He
That
played
would've-
4
Played
minutes.
4 minutes, yeah.
Oh,
But if he had
man.
played 8, it would have been mine all the way.
I don't
He had
think
6
so.
and a quarter points. It should have been a lock.
Yeah, there's a recommendation to our listeners. Try to play somebody that has 4 minutes.
Yes, you know what? If you can average as many points as you get minutes, you're pretty good unless you're Nazir Muhammad, because
Right.
that's just terrible. For those who didn't hear in the opening of the show, Nazi Stablenko is on our board now if you're watching on YouTube. It probably might be the most awkward thing I've ever seen. We have one lying around. I'm actually going to show our listeners or viewers. Look, Nick, show that to the camera.
Sure,
that
no
might
problem.
Be
I got you, John.
That might be
There
the
you go. That's
weirdest,
me.
most awkward Photoshop thing. Thank you to Jason, our graphics guy, for doing that.
I look good in the Bulls jersey, though.
He did another stand-up job.
Yeah, he did. He always does a stand-up job. If you checked out StarFantasyLeagues.com, you'd know that he does all
the
the
design
graphics.
is pretty primo.
He's on his game.
I'm excited to see what Nick has to offer
I was going to say,
tonight.
you know who's not, I was going to do transition there. You screwed up. You
Teddy
know
Bear
who's
2 transition.
You know who's not on his game tonight? Probably Nick Stablenko.
Listen, you know what? I like to have fun, okay? I like to bring it. I like to, keep the playing field even. But,
How is that
I
possible?
don't know what that means.
Yeah, how is that possible?
if you came and played hockey once in a while.
Oh my God, I'm not a hockey guy. Come play
Listen, I think
basketball.
I actually like my lineup tonight, so I'd like to hear. Maybe I'd like to hear what you have to say.
I don't think you do.
You probably don't have anything good to say.
No.
All right. Well, if you want me to dive right into it, I can do that.
Yes,
All
yes,
right,
please.
all right,
That's
sounds-
why we're
all right.
on the Star Fantasy
Sounds
League
good.
show
All right.
to hear him make terrible lineups.
All right, so I'm going to start at guard. I have Jamal Crawford in tonight, and I have him in because they're playing Milwaukee. He got over 30 minutes on Saturday, and I have a feeling that the Clippers are going to have their way with Milwaukee tonight.
That would be an understatement of all understatements. This game is going to be an absolute blowout. I didn't actually see the line before this. I'm assuming it's huge, right?
I think it's like 16.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that Jamal Crawford's going to get a run in this game if they're ahead that much?
Well, didn't he came off the bench in the first game, right?
Yeah, he's going to come off the bench again tonight. But I mean, that's his thing. That's what he does.
Yeah, it's,
Sixth man of the year.
I think there's a decent chance that he puts up some points tonight. What was he sitting at?
He was at 11-8.
Ooh, that's high.
I mean, I think what we're looking at from him tonight is somewhere in the 26-27 range. So it's not bad.
I mean, for upside for that amount of money, I'm probably looking at somebody like Reggie Jackson at the guard. He's starting for Westbrook tonight.
I have Reggie
Oh,
Jackson.
okay.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I have him in.
I'm just trying to compare.
I knew that Westbrook was out, and Reggie Jackson is the man to step up into his place.
I completely agree. Love it. Love the pick. What about you?
I think that's a decent pick.
They're playing Denver.
I know, but I tend to, and actually one of the best players on that team defensively is Ty Lawson.
That's actually true. But I mean, he's going to be a facilitator. He's probably going to dish out some assists in that game. That's what you can expect.
I just have trouble seeing him getting too much over 20. Like Reggie Jackson getting the 30-point fantasy game is very, very rare. Like even when he's starting, he didn't. I mean, 24 you're usually pretty happy with him, and that's not really good value tonight.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
In a fast-paced game, I feel like he's going to get a couple of these little rebounds out of fast breaks and a couple assists here and there, some steals.
He's going to get a couple little rebounds. What does that mean?
Because he's not a rebounder. So I'm saying
that was kind of the route that I went. I mean,
he's going to get some garbage points
he
that he
should get some
normally wouldn't
garbage
get.
in a
Yeah, that's
fast-paced
exactly what I'm
game.
heading for.
Lots of shots.
He could end up getting some extra minutes even in a blowout because he doesn't get to start that
I'll say,
often.
who else do they have?
I don't know. It's okay.
All right,
It's
so
okay.
you have a tough one.
I'm
with
not
it. All
mad
right,
about
that's
it.
fine. That's fine.
I'm not mad at you.
All right, sounds good. I'm doing okay then. All right, so with no Wade, I have LeBron James in. I know he's top dollar, but I think he should do pretty well. Historically, he's actually done really well in this kind of matchup.
Yeah, LeBron's definitely one of the top plays tonight, especially I think there's a little extra incentive going on here with the way the Heat have been playing for him to
Horribly?
step up and get them a win because they have looked absolutely awful.
Yeah, I think they're 4-7 over their last 11, if I looked at that correctly.
Yeah, they're in a big need of a win right now, and I think he's going to play as hard as he can tonight, despite a bit of a nagging ankle injury that I'm sure we'll hear whining about.
I don't believe we have the yeah, really. I don't believe we have the alarm ready, but we just got popped, guys. It just happened. Tony Parker is sitting out tonight,
Is he
completely
really?
out of the blue. If you had him in your lineup on StarFantasyLeagues.com, take full advantage of our late swap option and get Tony Parker out of your lineup.
Well, Tony Parker has the classic left Achilles soreness, which is
no. Look, the headline actually says popped. So you know what? I mentioned it a couple days ago. You're going to get popped here and there at the end of the season. Be careful.
Yeah, Tony Parker, despite an amazing matchup tonight against Philly, was a difficult option to look at, I think, still, because
he's been bad.
He's been bad. Even when he's doing well, he gets 28, 30 minutes. It's just
not enough.
It's difficult to look at, and so is anybody on the Spurs coming down to the playoffs.
Yep, true.
A lot of rest going
really
on.
Really inconsistent.
A lot of lackadaisical garbage.
Nick's going to be like, and I have 4 Spurs.
Actually, I have just one. I'm
no.
hoping that this actually helps him out. I have Kawhi Leonard in tonight.
Cool. Okay, we mentioned this. Anytime that people get sat, Kawhi is usually the benefactor of that, only because he's the young one. He's the kid. I mean,
this is the perfect matchup for him. I think he could have a great game, and I say Kawhi not.
He just Seth Young'd that. That was good. It was actually funny.
That would be something if Seth did it. I'd be like, okay, that's not bad for you.
Yeah, that's actually true. I'm completely.
It's actually a decent joke for you.
Yeah, exactly. For Seth, that's a good joke. All right, Nick, continue. We're not too angry at you so far.
So far, I think I'm doing okay. All right, next up I have, hopefully everybody has him, is Gorgie Jang.
What do you mean, hopefully everybody? You don't want everybody to have him.
Yeah, is that really what you're hoping for?
Aren't we trying to help out our fans here? Aren't we trying to help out our listeners a little bit?
Our listeners
I
should
would think that every one of our listeners should have Gorgie Jang in.
Oh, okay. Yes, because they're listening to us, yes. I thought you meant everybody in the game.
We are here to give them tips.
We are here to give them tips.
That is our job
That
on
is
this
the point
show.
of the Star Fantasy League show. We give out daily fantasy advice in all sports. That's why we're here, Nick, right?
Thank you very much.
Dang.
Appreciate that. Yeah, so anyways, I mean, he's still at $5,000. No Pekovic tonight. He's been doing really well.
He's got a tough matchup, but we've seen he kind of just does his thing, gets his rebounds. He's been very surprising.
Yeah, I would think that he would have a good game tonight. But, you have to definitely worry about his minutes, and the matchup is as difficult as it gets for him.
For the inside,
yeah.
Correct.
I mean, this is tough stuff against Marc Gasol, but his value is hard to ignore.
Yeah, if he was somewhere around like 8 or 9, maybe you'd consider not having him against this matchup. But at 5,000, it's a joke. Like he has to be in your lineup.
Is there anybody that you could compare him to at that same level, the 8 or 9 area?
I mean, Perro and Henry Sims are both around that amount. I like Henry Sims a lot tonight, only because I think he's going to get like 35 to 40 minutes.
What was Jang at?
He's at 5,000.
Oh.
Almost exactly.
He's a no-brainer.
There's something about this game tonight with him. I got a bad feeling about it.
Back to back, not a good idea.
You got a feeling?
I don't think that's what it's about. I just think this is for a young guy who's trying to find his way and get minutes and get productive. Going up against Marc Gasol is just scary, and he could end up, having one of those nights where he gets pulled early. I think
they have nobody else. No Roni Turioff, no Pekovic. He's basically the only healthy big man, and Dante Cunningham.
And Dante.
Yeah, but he's not a center. Against these two, you really want to put him up against Marc Gasol? No.
I don't know if I want to put anybody against Marc Gasol.
All right, Nick, round out your lineup for us.
All right, I got 3 more. So we're going to do Robin Lopez at center, no Aldridge. He's just a shade under 13,000.
I love Rolo. I think that at his salary, I mean, anything from 12 to 14, I think he's solid. You guys, like you said, he has a decent matchup against Miami, 26 against centers. I have no problem with it.
Couple miserable games.
That is true. I don't know where these are coming from, but this is about as good as a matchup as it gets.
I know, but I think about 3 of his last 5 have just been awful. It's tough to understand why he does well some nights. It's because he's a garbage man. That's why.
It might actually be true.
He does not. You don't run plays for Robin Lopez.
All right, we got to get these last 2 out here.
Not so sure about this one. I was kind of up in the air about it, but Nicholas Batum, he's just under 16,000 with no Aldridge in. He's been doing really well.
Yeah, I love him.
I have no problem with that at all. This is a great matchup.
I just get nervous
for him.
about Miami.
No.
I mean, the matchup, if you look at it on paper, isn't good, but he's done pretty well against them, and I don't have a problem with it.
All right, well, then the last one I have with J.J. Hickson done for the year.
I thought you were going to say J.J. Hickson. I was like, oh,
Terrell
no.
Arthur. No,
Seth,
I did my
Seth
research.
Tried
Just
to
under
put
6.
J.J. Hickson in his
Just
lineup
under
3
6,000.
times.
Just under 6,000. Terrell Arthur for Denver in a fast-paced game. We'll see.
Great play. I think Terrell Arthur was one of the looks of the night.
I think you might have gotten a hidden gem in there, Nick.
Getting on the board.
Getting on the board, or so he claims. Coming out after the break, we have John Old mailbag time. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
My
Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Seth. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
Yep.
For some reason, I've been channeling the ghost of our very well alive Seth Young today. Don't tweet us. We don't want to hear anything.
I do.
Okay. Zach would like to hear you tweet, or see you tweet, or look at you tweet. I don't know.
I love hearing from the people. I love responding and bestowing my knowledge upon them. Or just talking about the Bills.
Or anything. Yeah, please tweet us at SFL Show if you want to join John Old's mailbag, hear your questions read live on the radio. Isn't that cool? You get to hear your voice?
I concur.
Now you get to hear my voice.
I concur.
Sometimes I try to bring a radio into the studio so that I can hear myself while I'm talking.
We did that by accident once where I could hear us talking within the... That was weird.
Well, I put the YouTube stream on in my office next to us, and then I can hear it through the halls.
Yeah, we can hear ourselves during break. It's on a 30-second delay. It's really awkward.
You know what you could do, too? You could just talk out loud and hear yourself talk, because that's basically what you're doing.
No, I have headphones on. No, that's not how this works.
No, that's not a ding. Scott.
Scott, you're not here.
That is not a ding.
No, you know, I got one over on you. Sorry.
Nope.
I got one over on you. It's all good.
Doesn't make sense.
All right, since we are going clearly nowhere on the Star Fantasy League show today, we are going to our first question in Jonathan's mailbag.
Mailbag?
Yes. Mailbag time! All right, Jimmy K writes, Roddy White is in hot water after publicly making a bet with a Twitter follower and then changing the rules of the bet after he lost. Fair or foul? Are you guys familiar with this bet?
Listen, where you had to buy season tickets, right?
Yeah, the whole bet was apparently he's a Duke fan. Roddy White is a Duke fan, and a follower said, go Mercer or something like that. And Roddy White responded, unprovoked, said, if Mercer wins, I will give you season tickets 50-yard line first row. Okay, so he wins. Then he goes, I'm not doing that. I'll give you tickets to one of the games.
This is just classic Roddy White, in my opinion. We've seen this before from him.
Oh, we've seen Twitter bet welching before?
Hey, listen, I know how to own up to a bet, all right?
That is true.
You got to be a man of your word. You make a bet, live up to it. It's
show
very
it
simple.
again. Show it to the
All
listeners.
right,
There
yes.
you go. Or
There I
our
am,
viewer.
see?
If you're seeing that is the most awkward Photoshop job I've ever seen.
But it's all good.
It still looks perfect, though.
It's still good. It's fun. Come on, you got enough money. Buy the guy season tickets.
That's
Work
exactly
some magic.
Okay, that's what I thought too. He goes, it's just I didn't make a real bet. Like there was nothing against it.
Yeah,
Guess
and then-
what? You're rich, man. Like,
And
just
then
shut
how
up.
about getting all the credit for doing that? You'd be like, this guy's
Seriously.
the man.
And yeah, it's gonna cost.
Great
I bet you he
publicity
goes to. I bet you can go to your PR department and say, you know what, I screwed up. I didn't mean to do this. And they just give him season tickets.
Seriously.
It can't. It's the Atlanta
It's
Falcons.
literally, you can't go wrong. You're doing good for yourself, for the organization.
And he's a fan.
I don't understand.
The guy is a Falcons fan. Like it's
Seriously.
not like he's some jerk who's like, yeah, I just like Mercer. I don't really care about the Falcons.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I'm pretty disappointed.
I think
very lame.
this bet. It's just Twitter's something wrong with Twitter, man. You could just. And then sorry.
Learn how to not run your mouth then.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't know, if you're gonna say something like that, have some kind of faith in following through with it instead
Seriously.
of being a douche.
You got to step up. You got to do it. You got to do what you got to do.
And
Guy.
he's also got to play this season too. Maybe he could play for a few games, 4 or
That could
5.
help.
Maybe. Yeah. Back it up. Go Duke.
I'm sure Roddy is listening, and all I have to say to you, Mr. White, is live up to your promises.
Yeah. You know what? That was
Very
very well.
simple.
That was
Wow.
very well put.
Thank you.
Except he's clearly not our one listener. You think Roddy White is our one
Roddy
listener?
White is our favorite follower of all time.
our number one.
I think maybe our next question will be from Roddy White. Since
Maybe.
he listens all the time.
I believe
he
we
does.
have too many from listeners to put fake names on here.
It wouldn't be fake.
Oh yeah, sure. All right, our next question.
Roddy Big Game tweets, and he will tweet at the SFL show.
Our next tweet is from Roddy Big Game. Oh, that's not true. His name is Randy. Greg Oden is making the start against the team that drafted him tonight in Portland. Do you think this is a big deal for Greg, and how do matchups like this one affect fantasy implications? We talk about this a lot on the Star Fantasy League show, about how these intangibles affect how you pick players. This has got to be one of them, right? Although it's Greg Oden.
I think this is a bigger deal for Portland's fans. I think they just want to see Greg Oden get crushed, I would imagine.
Okay, I was gonna say I was hoping you weren't gonna say they hope he does well. I'm like, no, they don't.
And I know it's too bad what happened to Greg Oden's career and all his injuries, but you draft a guy whose feet length are uneven, which spells issues on top of the issues that already come with drafting a big man.
Wait a second. So you think they go through each draft pick and measure their feet and get
They
that
measure
intricate?
everything.
Everything?
First of all,
Yeah.
this guy had
Everything.
issues before, okay? And they took him over Kevin Durant.
But how
Imagine.
How could you see this coming?
I saw it coming.
Do you see it coming with Brandon Roy?
No.
That is completely different.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
different.
saying.
This is a big man
I
that
think
had
it's very
chronic health
unfortunate.
issues.
And he couldn't run. Did you watch him run? He looked like an old man running.
Uneven feet.
I understand. I mean, I still think that it's a little bit ridiculous what happened to him. It's pretty unbelievable to have him have that many surgeries on his feet. You could say it could happen to any guy his size. It's just unnatural for somebody to be that large. There's so much weight and pressure on their bodies. It can happen to anybody. Dwight Howard is enormous. He has never seen something like this.
Because he's way more athletic. than
Okay, but
that.
that's great. But Greg Oden looked like he should have been a great athlete. He was enormous, yes, but at the same time, he was still good. He was still worthy of being in the top 10 at the very least in that draft.
It's a health risk.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to measure the guy's
arguing
feet.
whether he could be in the top 10 is completely different.
Yeah,
from,
it's way
Okay, but I'm just saying it's just a really unfortunate misstep No pun intended.
I was very excited for the Celtics to get the second pick in that draft, only so we wouldn't have to make the decision between Greg Oden and Kevin Durant, because I wanted nothing to do with Greg Oden whatsoever.
I mean, I don't think you would have been able to build a franchise around him anyways.
Well, I'm not arguing that.
And there is no doubt that you could build a franchise around Kevin Durant.
I'm not arguing that.
Okay,
I'm
you know
not
what?
going to argue
We're
that.
done arguing, which means we are moving on. What a surprise. We actually got through an argument. Liam writes, it appears the Jets and Eagles are swapping quarterbacks, with Mike Vick joining the Jets and Mark Sanchez heading to Philadelphia. Which quarterback is more likely to be fantasy relevant in their new surroundings?
This is a no-doubter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think there's an argument.
Wait,
there.
okay, hold on. There's a real answer here?
I think Geno Smith is about to get
Yanked?
a couple inches in wiggle room, maybe, and that's about it.
So you're saying 2 games.
2 to 3, yes.
Do you think he makes it? Hold on. This is a legitimate question. Do you think he makes it through the preseason as the starting quarterback for the Jets? Yeah, see?
Okay. I mean, I think
So many things could happen that is.
I
that
think
is
I'm
just
gonna.
like.
I'm gonna agree that Michael Vick is gonna give Geno, that he's gonna give him a short leash. Yeah, I agree with that. The thing of it is that I don't think he should have that short of a leash.
Why?
Because
were you the one that was supporting Geno
I
the
was
other
the one
day?
that supported him, and this is why. Because anytime you draft a rookie quarterback, you do not – come on, seriously. You do not give the guy 1 year and tell him to get it together. I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous.
I'm sorry,
you
but
have to give him
can-
another year.
You can tell within a year if he has even a
He
shred
had
of
no
hope.
receivers, 0 receivers. Tell me one receiver that you would put on a championship team that played for the Jets last season. You can't do it.
Kellen Winslow.
Yeah, you can't do it. There's not a single one that would play for a championship team. Seriously, the guy had no help, and he's a rookie.
What about Jeremy Curley?
Yeah, I would put him as a number 3 receiver on that team. If I was assembling that team, I'm sorry.
I think that pretty much any relevant receiver in the league could play for the Denver Broncos.
Oh, great.
So that would be a championship team, wouldn't it?
Okay, but so he also had. Are you talking about Peyton Manning? Are you saying how Peyton Manning makes players good? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying
he
that,
has 4 or 5 other weapons, and he has a proven history of being able to create
you
players.
just said that they
Peyton
couldn't be
Manning
on-
didn't go to the playoffs in his first
You
year
just
as
said
a
they
rookie.
couldn't be on a championship team.
I'm just saying Geno Smith has 0 help.
You said they had no
Nothing.
receivers that could be on a championship team.
All
I
right,
said
Zach is
that
clearly
not true.
Zach is trying to clearly goad you into saying something dumb. It's not going to happen. He's just baiting you at
I'm
this
getting
point.
him fiery.
Yeah. All right. Let's
I'm
move
sorry,
on.
I don't know. I give him more time, and I think he has a chance.
We clearly said nothing about Mark Sanchez, and am I surprised? Absolutely
be.
not. He's going to be the 3rd quarterback there. He's going to be mentoring Matt Barkley to see how not to get in trouble with the law or something. I don't really know. Who knows? All right, last question. Donnie W. writes, Mark Cuban recently slammed the NFL in a pregame interview. This is a basketball pregame interview, by the way. Is Cuban way off base, or is he onto something here? Did you guys hear the quote for this?
Yeah, I did see this. I actually take a lot of solace in what Mark Cuban says. I enjoy his quotes. I enjoy his
He's
thoughts.
one of the smartest people
He's
ever.
the man. I think he's so awesome.
All right.
And I don't have any problem with this at all. I think that the NFL is a little bit in danger of getting ridiculous.
Well, what's the whole argument on his point on his part? Like, what does he say? What does he really think
He's
is going to
saying-
happen?
he's
I know he
saying
said
that-
that they're going to implode.
No,
He's saying that the
they're gonna
NFL is inching towards having games every night, and that's going to saturate fans.
Oh, well, then I couldn't agree more.
And they're getting too greedy. They're going for these contracts.
Yep.
So apparently they signed I didn't hear about this. In February, they signed a deal with CBS to actually air these NFL Network games. So
Yeah.
it's going to be on CBS. They're probably making an extra $1 billion a year because of this, I assume. a couple hundred million.
We heard a lot of players this past season say how they really didn't like Thursday night games, and I
They're
think
brutal.
it throws them off. Football is it's a ritualistic game. They have their set schedules every week, and when you go from playing to Sunday to Sunday, and now you go from Sunday to Thursday, you have 3 days to get ready. You really don't have the proper practice time and recovery time. I don't know. Yeah, they are. They're getting
Do you
greedy.
guys remember any of these Thursday games last year being overly competitive and entertaining? I just remember them being sloppy. A lot of them were really sloppy NFL
I seem
games.
to remember a Bills-Browns game.
Yeah, I
that
remember
stands
wanting
out.
to
Please don't
remove
talk.
myself from existence.
Didn't
when I watched that game.
Hoyer die in that game? Is that the one? where he
And Manuel.
Yeah.
They both
yeah,
went
that's
out.
true. So
Yeah.
guess what? Don't play on Thursday. It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. I
But
think
I have-
Sundays and Mondays are enough.
I have to get these 2 quotes in here because they're just typical Cuban and they're hilarious. He said the league is 10 years away from implosion due to the league's greed. And he also said pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. What is going on in Mark Cuban's head?
That's being straight up.
That's an absolute classic.
He doesn't care. This was during one of his
Well,
Dallas
why should he
Mavericks
care?
pregame.
Yeah, why should he care? I mean, the guy's got everything going for him.
You know what I think he's really angry about? That he doesn't own one of these greedy franchises. I bet you he would love to own a franchise in the NFL.
Imagine what the NFL would be like with Marcus here.
Yeah, he has spent a fair share of time around here doing so.
Oh, man. Let's hope they're not going to be buddies. I don't want to see that. Let's not see it happen. All right, coming up after the break, we are breaking down NBA Tuesday on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Hey, this is Guy Fieri.
At StarFantasyLeagues.com, where
Stand
you
by.
can play fantasy sports like football, basketball, hockey, and baseball, and earn cold hard cash every single day. It's legal, it's brand new, and it's awesome. At StarFantasyLeagues.com, you can play your favorite fantasy sport for real money against real people, or even play the Star Fantasy League's free tournaments for your chance to win something for nothing. Put your money where your mouth is. Prove your expertise. Get your game on today at StarFantasyLeagues.com. The Star Fantasy League show is now part of the Nick Monsanto Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now.
Sorry, voiceover guy, you are incorrect. We don't have any of your updated information right now because we're going to continue John Old's mailbag. We got a tweet that said they love the mailbag so much.
Keep it going. Keep the mailbag going. We're back on the air right now. This is the Star Fantasy League show.
I love when Zach
we are live.
I love when Zach tries to kidnap. He tries to kidnap the show.
Broadcasting live in the center of Rochester, New York at SFL headquarters, and we are live.
We're actually not in the center of town, but good effort.
Live?
Pretty much.
Oh, fine, whatever. All right, we got one more question I wanted to break down because it's very important and very sad unless you pick this in your bracket, in which case it's happy for me.
This doesn't have anything to do with the Bills, does it?
No, of course not. All right, Richard V. writes, the Wichita State Shockers saw their perfect season come to an end before the Sweet 16. Is their undefeated season less meaningful because of an early tournament exit?
I mean, wasn't everybody waiting for this? They were all just kind of waiting to kind of put the hammer down on this team.
I thought it was sad.
I thought it was sad, too.
I picked it, so I didn't think this was sad whatsoever.
I figured.
I had
As
Kentucky.
much as I'm not a fan
You're not a fan of a happy story, though.
I'm not
Why
a
is
fan of
that-
John
okay.
Calipari. I don't like his antics. I think that he was a cheater in Memphis. I just said that on the air, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
That'll remain
I
in
think
the airwaves forever.
Well, no one's going to hear it. It's fine.
The fact of the matter was, this team actually went down with a real fight too. They really
that was
put
a
up.
Great,
It was
that was
a great
game. Early went nuts.
And Kentucky, hats off to them. They played a fantastic game. Julius
Kentucky.
Randle was great.
I think what's getting lost in this is that Kentucky played the best game that they've played all year.
Yeah.
By far.
Easily. Well, they stepped up to the challenge. I mean, when you get a chance to do that, you get to put a stamp on the tournament. Yeah, they really did. They stepped up.
Don't forget, this team was the preseason number 1. Kentucky was number 1 overall going into the season. They had all these freshmen. It was Cauley Stein. They got Randall. Randall played really well. He looked really dominant in that game. Nobody could guard him at all.
He looked like he was going to be a lottery pick, that's for sure.
Well, he's going to be a top
That's
five,
what I mean,
top
but
pick.
he played like it. And in these types of games, that's what you want to see out of a player like that. You want to see them step up into the spotlight and really show something.
Well,
and that was good.
This is really funny because Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins were talked about as these freshmen that are going to save the day and be huge in the tournament. Nobody mentioned Randall as a standout, and he knocked off one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, you got me there. I definitely said that. I said that. I really believed it. But
he said it.
I said it.
Nick said it.
And I want you to know that I said that.
Oh, all right. So do you guys think Kentucky's going any further than this? I think they're done.
I certainly hope not.
Well, I mean, if they play the way that they did yesterday, I can see it happening.
Yeah, if they play
Louisville didn't look great.
If they play the way that you did, you can't count them out at all.
But they got Louisville up next. It's a matchup of coaches everybody
I got
hates.
Louisville in the finals, so I certainly know who I'm going to be rooting for.
I feel like Louisville should be advancing, but you never know.
This is going to be a good one.
I'll say if you're going by your theory of best player on the court, watch out for Kentucky and and Randall.
You're right.
This is going to be one of the better ones we'll see.
Here's a question. How many of the NBA scouts do you think are going to be at this game? Be like, ooh, Randall, he's on fire. Let's see what he does.
Yeah, if you're not at the game, are you going to keep your job? That's the question.
Do you think the Milwaukee Bucks have their entire scouting team there?
I pretty much think anybody that Milwaukee drafts next year
is screwed.
They're good. No, I mean they're going to be better than what they have.
I really hope they get the 4 pick. That'd be
I'll tell
really
you, your
funny.
boy Parker left scouts shaking their heads.
Yeah. He and I don't hang out, so he's not my boy. But
well, you were touting him.
I was touting him, but
you were all over him. So if you were supporting him, some people say that as a phrase, your boy. It's very common.
All right, fine. Jay Parker, you're my boy.
There we go. I just wanted to hear Jay Parker. It's all good.
Jay Park.
Okay, is that
No good?
No.
No good?
All right, since we are done with John L's mailbag, that means we have to move on to talking about daily fantasy basketball on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Tuesday.
But wait.
There's more.
John Old's mailbag is not over.
It is over.
All right, yeah, it's over. Okay, let's.
I was like, I'm the one doing it, so I assume it actually is over. All right, so we are doing NBA Tuesday. For some reason, the schedule gods screwed up. There's only 4 games on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on tomorrow night, but I will tell you there are some intriguing fantasy matchups.
Are you just saying that from like a fun standpoint, or did you actually
Everybody
feel
gather
like that?
around your radios because this could be one of those nights worth talking about.
When I was making these matchup charts, I didn't see that whatsoever. There's a couple teams that I like, picking players against, but nothing too crazy. I think you're a little exaggerating there.
These games have a plethora of storylines that you just cannot ignore.
Don't you just love it when he's boisterous?
No,
He
he's
just
being
keeps
if
getting into
if
it?
you ever heard sports radio where just the talking heads talk like this and they say really dumb things and they talk like this, that's exactly what Zach's doing right now.
But I really am telling you, there are things that are going on, underlying storylines, points of emphasis that you're really going to need to listen to right now.
All right, you know what? Let's break down every game. There are only 4 on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Let's start with Toronto and Cleveland. Cleveland obviously injured. We don't know the status of Deng. Deng, decides not to play for a couple games. Obviously, that Kyrie guy, that good player on that team, gone.
I don't know if you witnessed this, but Jarrett Jack went
nuts.
Chris Paul against the Knicks yesterday. It was quite the performance. He could not miss. He was getting space whenever he wanted it. Raymond Felton, no answer. Not surprising, but
what do you expect?
I actually have had a good time watching Deion Waiters since he's gotten these minutes.
Yeah,
he's an exciting player. He's he can really put points on the board pretty quickly, and I think it's a good little trial for him to see what he's really capable of and how he's going to play in the NBA going forward. As for this game, I think those are the guys that you got to look at. I think you can look at Jarrett Jack. I think you can look at Waiters. Watching Dellavedova, I don't even know.
Dellavedova.
I think it's Dellavedova. He had a couple really good games, ended up getting a lot of minutes because Alonzo G got in foul trouble early, but he isn't as involved in the offense as Jack is when he's on the floor. I think he's got some decent value, so maybe tomorrow night on a short slate, you might want to look at him. You might want to look at G. Actually, I don't think you should look at G at all.
I was gonna say,
because Luol Deng is back.
He's the least
Luol Deng is back. I don't think you should look at G at all.
If he's don't touch anybody. But what do you feel about Jack against somebody like Kyle Lowry, though? Kyle Lowry's a lockdown defender. I mean, who is he guarding, though? Is he guarding Waiters? Is he guarding Jack? What do we really know?
I just think that this is one of the games tomorrow night where you're going to be able to find some decent value, especially at the guard position. I think Waiters is a must.
Yeah,
he's a must.
I completely agree. When he's on this streak, he's been absolutely dominant in all facets of the game.
Yeah, he's good for 25 plus lately.
What's his salary right now?
He's
10,000,
10,400.
Yeah, at what point would he creep up to where you just couldn't take him, even though I know he's getting the minutes?
12-ish, probably 12, 13.
I would take him at 12.
Would you take him at 12?
Yeah, I would be a little concerned at 13 against Toronto. Favorable matchup, I'd take him at 13-5.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean when he has a decent,
every night?
he's been getting about 30.
He's got the ball in his hands all the time, and you're just going to get. He's playing hard. He's playing like he wants the minutes. He's been playing
40 minutes.
He's actually been playing with some nagging injuries, but he really wants to show off his skills and what he's capable of.
Contract year.
And when you're watching a guy like that is going all out every game, you can take advantage of it.
And the status of Kyrie, I mean, it's really up in the air right
He's
now,
done.
right?
He's
is
not
it guaranteed done? Because I mean, I know we had
they'd
those
be
conflicting
really
reports.
stupid the way they're going to bring him back.
I don't think it's a lock, but this team.
They have no chance.
Yeah, they're pretty much out of playoff running.
So it could be safe to say that you're going to be riding Deion Waiters the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the way that the Star Fantasy League's salaries have been moving at times on certain players, I can't see him going up that much that quickly.
Okay.
So
all right,
keep an eye on him.
What about on the other side of the ball? Anybody you're looking at for Toronto? Lowry, DeRozan, Amir Johnson, who's been on fire recently.
Both Lowry and DeRozan haven't had
monster games
against them, and you really got to watch out for DeRozan because he kind of plays a shooting guard, small forward hybrid, and if Luol Deng is playing on DeRozan the whole game, he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And at 16,000, that's way too high. I think there's too many guys to look at tomorrow that are in that range that are worth it, or guys that you should go a little bit higher and sacrifice a little bit. So.
All right, so let's move on to the second game of the night. Portland at Orlando, 207 over under. Portland's favor. They're on the back-to-back. Obviously, they're playing right now. So LaMarcus Aldridge out. Jameer Nelson possibly out. I actually think that hurts. That might. I kind of like when Jameer Nelson plays. He's really bad. He can't defend anybody.
He is pretty bad. I think that Jameer Nelson being out hurts Damian Lillard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I prefer from a fantasy standpoint for Nelson to play so you can pick against him.
However, if I were looking at Victor Oladipo, I would be rooting for Nelson not to play.
That is very true.
Because that is an awesome matchup for him. And Oladipo had 14 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks last time that they played. That was with Jameer Nelson, and Jameer actually had a great game that game, so he took a lot of the ball out of Oladipo's hands. Oladipo on a nice little hot streak now, too.
Yeah, I love Oladipo. He when we were talking about MCW running away with the Rookie of the Year, Oladipo, if he played a little bit more this season, I think he could have won.
Yeah, he could have had an argument. The problem with Oladipo, I mean, and then again, that's a problem with MCW, is that the jumper isn't really there. It's kind of non-existent. He's going to have to get better from the field.
MCW has a better time getting to the basket and doing these like weird Tony Parker like the little drops and all that stuff. He's really good at those. I don't think Oladipo has that in his game. He can get to the basket really easily, but nothing creative.
No, Oladipo's a little quicker, but I think Michael Carter-Williams is more dynamic.
I completely agree. We mentioned Batum for Monday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. You like him again tomorrow? I feel like
I do. I think
he's dominant.
Yeah,
right?
This is a great matchup, high-scoring game. I think he's going to get a lot of boards tomorrow.
Yeah, he should. Also, look at somebody like Kyle O'Quinn at 81.35 if you're trying to get some value in there. He's been getting around. He's been hitting value almost every night. He's getting around 20 to 25 fantasy points, which is exactly on value for him.
Yeah, this is a team that has been shying away from Tobias Harris, who had some inconsistencies, but it's difficult to think that they shouldn't be trying to develop Harris and instead are going with O'Quinn. I kind of can't believe that they're doing that.
Makes no sense to me.
And I think, I mean, if you saw the Lakers game last night, against Orlando. Harris was off the chain in like 23
He could
minutes.
do it. Yeah, he could do it.
It's just.
All right, let's
I think you really want to develop him,
Yeah,
and I have a problem with that with young players and coaches that aren't making good decisions.
All right, let's get through these last two games. One of them I don't like. Oklahoma City at Dallas. I'm not really a big fan of this game. We don't know about Westbrook. Calderon's injured as well. None of these guys have really done that much against the other.
Is Oklahoma City doing the thing where they rest them on one slate of the back-to-back and then they play them the next one?
Westbrook.
Actually, he's had a little bit of a nagging injury lately too, so that's made him questionable for pretty much every game.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, initially the plan was that they would choose one of the back-to-backs.
What's the story with that? I mean, it feels like there's more people that are doing that.
Yeah,
more teams that are doing.
I mean,
that.
Yeah, we
it's
talked
playoff.
about that last week. I think it's crazy.
It's for the playoff hunt. It's getting really annoying. But anybody, would you like anybody from this game? Durant's expensive. Ibaka's getting up there, but Ibaka right now is dominating on Monday night. So
I think if Westbrook is out, Ibaka's worth a look, but 16,000 is pretty high.
yeah, he'd be one of the higher guys.
No, I really don't like anybody in this game.
I
to be
completely.
honest.
That's why I didn't want to talk about this much. All right, last game of the night, big one. New York Knicks at L.A. Lakers is an old school matchup. I like almost everybody in this game.
Yeah, this is the game. Pau is not going to play. He's not going to play.
Like vertigo.
He's got vertigo.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And by the way, I had him in last night. I don't want to talk about it. He went out at halftime, but yeah, I think everybody's in play tomorrow night. Jody Meeks, he's a guy in a favorable matchup that can put up some points.
J.R. Smith, yeah.
He's going to be relied upon for a little extra scoring. Jordan Hill and Chris Kaman, I think, are musts.
Yeah, they're both right under $10,000 on StarFantasyLeagues.com. I completely agree.
And
I think
Mike
all three of those
D'Antoni,
guys.
Mike D'Antoni,
Here we
Mike
go.
D'Antoni announcement already came out and said that Chris Kaman will be starting.
Yeah, it's going to be Jordan Hill at the 4, Chris Kaman at the 5, correct?
Yes.
That's the lineup we're going with. What about on the other side of the ball? I think Anthony's a must-play, right?
Yeah, Carmelo's a no-doubter. This is my opinion. You're not going to take Durant tomorrow night, I wouldn't think.
He's too expensive.
He's too expensive. Carmelo is
$3,000 less. I would much rather have Carmelo at $20,000.
Yeah, he could easily put up just as much points, and I think he's going to be a little hungry after he had a bad fourth quarter last night and ended up costing Cleveland the game.
And he's at L.A., man.
Surprise, surprise, New York stopped moving the ball last night.
Yeah, no way. All right, you got to do it, Zach. What is your play of the day on StarFantasyLeagues.com?
My play of the night for Tuesday night is Melo.
Oh, you got to go with Melo? You're going with
I'm going with
guy?
Melo, baby. 40-plus tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's probably an easy one. All right, coming back, we're wrapping up the show, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Are you an inventor?
1-800-999-1064. That's 1-800-999-1064.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Nick Monsanto Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Yep.
That is right, and we are wrapped up on the Star Fantasy League Show.
That'll do it, folks. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks
for coming
off your
I'm not going to say it.
radio.
I'm not saying it.
Turn it off.
I don't know.
Keep your radio on for the next 24 hours because we will be back.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this replay on Tuesday morning. So if you're listening to this on Tuesday morning, that's weird because the world's over. How are you listening to it on Tuesday morning?
The world's over?
Yeah. Between Monday night and Tuesday morning, the world's going to end.
Well, in that case, I got a case of beer that needs some drinking.
This is your sign-off, Teddy Bear 2.
Since the world is ending, we're not really going to give away any free value, but just in case I am wrong, Zach, give away some free value on StarFastLeagues.com for those of you who have not. Oh my God, I didn't do my whole spiel about those who haven't played on StarFastLeagues.com today.
Yeah,
I'm very depressed.
Waiting for that.
I am so depressed.
Great job.
For those of you that
Thanks
never played on StarFastLeagues.com, Zach's going to give you free money. Go ahead.
Well, go ahead and tweet us over at StarFantasyLeagues.com.
How do you tweet us at StarFastLeagues.com? You mean
or
tweet us
if you,
at SFL Show.
If you tweet us at SFL Show.
There you go.
We will deposit $5 into your StarFantasyLeagues.com account. All you have to do is head over to the site, create a quick account, fill out a little form.
It's really fast,
little
too,
online
right?
form action. It takes no time at all. And you will be playing in all of our games.
I just tweeted.
Oh my God, Nick! Every show you try to get free money.
I'm not.
There are no strings attached to this deal.
He's trying to do his cricket
Yeah,
sound,
it's
too.
not working. If there's no strings
You're
attached,
abusing that cricket sound.
but if you're a member of the Star Fantasy Leagues family, you can't get this deal. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, Nick tries to poach the deal all the time.
All right, then I pass my deal on to all of my friends and family.
That's true. Sure, why not? Get your friends, get your family, sign them up at StarFantasyLeagues.com. It's fun, right? You gotta do it.
It's a great time. Yeah, we've got tons of stuff going on every day, and baseball is about to start. I can't believe it. So we're going to have free sports rolling. We're working on our season-long leagues right now.
Yeah, Tuesday morning we're going to have the baseball games up for opening day. They're going to be ready.
$50 free roll tomorrow.
Yes, we do. We got it. All right, guys. If you don't know who Nazi Stablenko is,
Oh, yeah.
we'll help you make a better lineup next time. Take it easy, guys.
All right, guys. Good show.